In the vast and cacophonous theater of human interaction, power has long been portrayed as a spectacle. It is the booming voice that commands the boardroom, the charismatic charm that wins the crowd, and the dramatic display of authority that demands submission. This is power that roars, a visible, audible force that leaves little to the imagination. Yet, lurking in the shadows of this overt dominance exists a far more potent and enigmatic force, a power that does not announce itself, does not seek validation, and operates on a frequency imperceptible to those reliant on noise for their influence. This is the power of the Sigma male, an archetype defined not by social hierarchy or loud proclamations, but by an unwavering, self-contained sovereignty. His strength is not in volume but in profound silence, not in controlling others, but in his absolute control over himself. The dynamics of this silent power create an intricate psychological drama whenever it collides with performative, manipulative, and dependent personalities, ultimately leading to their quiet yet total dismantling. At the heart of this lies a devastatingly simple thesis. Many forms of perceived power are nothing more than elaborate castles built in the sand of social compliance. They function only when their audience reacts according to a predetermined script, offering guilt, fear, admiration, or attention on cue. The Sigma male, by virtue of his psychological independence and emotional self-sufficiency, refuses to play his part. His presence alone becomes a mirror, reflecting the hollow core of these performances back at the performer, causing their fragile edifice to collapse. This is not a battle fought with aggression, but a war won through absence, unshakable boundaries, and a clarity of perception that cuts through illusion like a blade. To understand the Sigma's impact, one must move beyond simplistic labels. He is often mistaken for the introvert or the lone wolf, but his essence is distinct. An introvert may seek solitude to recharge from social exhaustion, but Sigma embraces solitude as a natural state being. It is not a retreat, but his homeland. A lone wolf may operate in isolation out of necessity or bitterness, but the Sigma does so out of principled self-sufficiency. His core identity is built on internal validation, worth, purpose, and direction derived entirely from his own principles, experiences, and reflections. Indifferent to hierarchy, he has no need for the alpha's dominance or the beta's belonging. He orbits his own axis, guided by an inner compass immune to social pressure, manipulation, or emotional blackmail. Observing the world with detached curiosity, he studies human patterns without feeling compelled to join them. His silence is not emptiness, but a reservoir of analysis and strength. And when he does speak, his words carry weight because they're deliberate, unclouded by a need for approval. This combination of independence, clarity, and purposeful action makes him a fortress, impervious to strategies that easily ensnare those who derive their worth from others. Most people, by contrast, are highly vulnerable to manipulation because they are wired for connection, belonging, and validation. These universal human needs become fertile ground for the tactics of emotional blackmailers, guilt trippers, and puppet masters who exploit fear and insecurity. Such personalities thrive on others' dread of rejection, their aversion to conflict, and their craving for approval. Their power is not innate, but borrowed, leased in the vulnerabilities of others. By staging elaborate dramas, from victim playing to guilt-inducing, they count on predictable responses, apologies, concessions, and anxious attempt to appease. These reactions fuel their control, making manipulation a codependent performance in which the target, often unwilling, is coerced into playing along. Most people comply because the social cost of defying the performance feels too high. But when the Sigma male enters this theater of manipulation, the entire script unravels. He is the unscripted variable, the audience member who refuses to suspend disbelief. He does not fight, argue, or protest. Instead, he simply refuses to react. His non-compliance delivers the most devastating blow of all. Silence where there should have been fear, indifference where there should have been guilt. For the manipulator, this is catastrophic. It is like performing a soliloquy to an empty auditorium. The performance collapses under its own futility. This collapse, however, is rarely immediate. Manipulators often escalate, layering on greater drama, sharper guilt, and louder demands in an attempt to provoke the expected response. But the Sigma remains immovable, a rock in a stormy sea. Eventually, the manipulator is forced to confront a painful truth. Their power was never real. It was a phantom sustained only by others' compliance. Confronted with a man who cannot be baited, guilt, or lured into the script, they are stripped of their illusion of control. What remains is the raw exposure of their own hollowness. The Sigma does not destroy them with aggression or confrontation. He dismantles them with silence, forcing them to face the abyss of their inauthenticity. 1. The emotional blackmailer. The weaponization of vulnerability. The emotional blackmailer is a master of covert coercion, turning affection and duty into tools of control. Their weapons are sighs of disappointment, carefully curated tears, the silent treatment, and phrases designed to pierce with guilt. I just thought you cared more, or after everything I've done for you. Their entire power structure rests on a social contract they themselves wrote, the rule that a good person must constantly manage the emotional state of the blackmailer. They prey on empathy and obligation, holding relationships hostage to get what they want. The Sigma male neutralizes this tactic by operating from a different rulebook, one rooted in fairness, logic, and clear boundaries. Unlike most, he can separate his emotions from those of others, refuse and take on burdens that are not his to carry. When a guilt-laden strike is launched, the Sigma sees it for what it is, an attempt at control, not an expression of pain. He responds calmly, sometimes with direct words such as, "Your feelings are yours to manage, not mine," or at times with complete silence, withdraw his attention and energy. This disengagement leaves the blackmailer stranded, their drama collapsing without the expected cycle of guilt, apology, and concession. Their illusion of power shatters when confronted by someone who refuses to carry the weight of their emotions. 2. The pretend deep philosopher. The facade of borrowed wisdom. This type thrives on surface-level profundity, wrapping themselves in the borrowed robes of thinkers and gurus. They quote Nietzsche out of context, sprinkle casual mentions of quantum physics into daily conversation, and throw around words like energy and the universe to create an aura of depth. Yet their wisdom is a patchwork of other people's ideas, lacking the authenticity that comes from lived experience. They rely on an audience too polite or intimidated to question their vague assertions. The Sigma male dismantles this performance by simply being what the pretend deep pretends to be, genuinely thoughtful, deeply introspective, and quietly authentic. He has wrestled with meaning in solitude and built an understanding rooted in his own lived experiences. Thus, when faced with shallow performances of wisdom, the Sigma does not feed them the validation they crave. His silence is not agreement but a void, his calm gaze cutting straight through the hollow performance. The contrast between the Sigma's authentic presence and the philosopher's rehearsed monologues becomes unbearable, making their second-hand insights sound hollow and their persona collapse under the weight of its own emptiness. 3. The opportunist. The chameleon without a core. The opportunist is a shapeshifter, forever adjusting loyalties, values, and personalities to suit the moment. To them, adaptability is intelligence and loyalty is conditional. Their relationships are transactional, their identity a moving target that shifts toward power or popularity. They treat every social encounter as a chance to be on the winning side, believing their flexibility is strength, when in truth it masks a hollow center. The Sigma male stands as their exact opposite, rooted in unshakable authenticity. He has no need to bend himself to fit the room. His values are non-negotiable, his sense of self insistent across all situations. When the opportunists attempt to ingratiate themselves by mimicking the Sigma, they find their efforts wasted. The Sigma's presence exposes their shifting facade, rendering it transparent and desperate. The opportunist is suddenly visible for what they are, a hollow chameleon without a core, while the Sigma remains unmoved, a rock of consistency in a sea of social change. 4. The passive-aggressive sniper, the cowardice of indirect conflict. Armed with veiled insults and backhanded compliments, the passive-aggressive sniper operates from the shadows. Their weapon is ambiguity. "You're so lucky you don't care what people think," or "That's brave of you to wear." Such remarks are designed to wound but remain deniable, forcing the target to either absorb the sting or risk looking oversensitive by confronting it. The Sigma responds with clarity and calm precision. He may cut through the fog with a blunt question. "What exactly do you mean by that?" Dragging the sniper into the open. More often, though, he offers nothing at all, treating the jab as irrelevant background noise. This indifference is devastating because the sniper relies on eliciting visible reactions. Without a flinch, a glare, or a counterattack, their weapon dissolves. What remains is a stark exposure of their cowardice, while the Sigma's composure makes their efforts appear childish and petty. 5. The manipulative puppet master, the illusion of control. The puppet master sees people as chess pieces, moving them subtly with guilt, flattery, and hidden strings. They never give direct orders, but instead craft situations where others believe they are acting freely, when in reality they are following the manipulator's design. For them, influence is godlike power, and control is the ultimate reward. Yet the Sigma is a piece they cannot move. His pattern recognition allows him to see the strings before they are pulled. Immune to flattery, resistant to guilt, and detached from manufactured crises, he simply refuses to play. The puppet master quickly finds that their subject is not on the board at all, but calmly standing outside it, watching with quiet detachment. Their illusion of control collapses, and they are left exposed, not as a master, but as a performer tugging at strings attached to nothing. 6. The borrowed identity, the fragility of the patchwork self. Some personalities construct themselves out of imitation, borrowing styles, opinions, and behaviors from others they admire. Their personas shift from week to week. Today mimicking a celebrity's confidence, tomorrow adopting a professor's intellect, then copying a musician's rebelliousness. On the surface, they may appear impressive, but closer inspection reveals a personality stitched together like a costume. The Sigma, however, is a man authored from within. His identity is consistent, authentic, and unshakable. Standing near him, the mimic's flaws are illuminated. Their confidence seems rehearsed, their opinions borrowed, their very presence inauthentic. Against the Sigma's quiet originality, their patchwork identity falls apart, exposing the painful truth. They have no core self of their own. 7. The over-explainer, the tyranny of verbal exhaustion. The over-explainer buries their audience under mountains of words. Their strategy is not clarity but confusion, an avalanche of circular logic and endless details that exhaust listeners into reluctant agreement. They believe that talking the most means winning. The Sigma's weapon is precision. He listens patiently, allowing the storm of word to pass, and then delivers a single, cutting sentence that dismantles the entire monologue. His clarity exposes a verbal smokescreen for what it is, an attempt to obscure insecurity. The over-explainer's fortress of words collapses like paper before the Sigma's economy of expression. 8. The energy leech, the parasite of emotional drama. The energy leech thrives on chaos, gossip, and conflict. They stir drama not for outcome, but for the thrill of emotional reaction, feeding on others' shock, outrage, or excitement. Their survival depends on extracting emotional energy from those around them. But the Sigma is a closed system. He generates his own energy, needing no external drama for stimulation. When the leech attempts to feed, he offers nothing. No outrage, no gossip, no emotional fuel. His indifference starves them. Their petty dramas collapse into insignificance, and their parasitic nature is laid bare against the Sigma's calm self-sufficiency. 9. The noise maker, the desperation of volume. Believing the loudest voice holds authority, the noise maker fills every room with bluster, exaggeration, and endless chatter. Their volume masks insecurity and a fear of being overlooked. The Sigma never competes for noise. His power lies in silence, dense, magnetic, and commanding. People naturally lean in when he speaks, making the noisemaker's shouting sound desperate and hollow by comparison. His quiet presence proves that true authority requires no volume, exposing the noisemaker's frantic behavior as a mask for weakness. 10. The group-dependent bully, the cowardice of the pack. The group-dependent bully relies on numbers, drawing courage from cliques and crowds. Alone, they are hesitant and insecure, but with backup, they become aggressive, mocking, and cruel. Their intimidation stems from collective force rather than individual strength. The Sigma, however, is indifferent to groups. His worth does not depend on social acceptance. When targeted, he does not flinch, treating the entire pack with the same calm detachment as he was single individual. His composure exposes the bully's cowardice, shattering the illusion of their power. Without the safety of the group, the bully is revealed as weak and dependent, while the Sigma remains strong in solitude. 11. The guilt tripper, the economy of emotional debt. The guilt tripper builds an emotional ledger, recording every favor or sacrifice to cash in later. Their manipulation comes through phrases like, "I would never do that to you," or "after all I've sacrificed." Their power lies in convincing others that they owe a perpetual debt. But the Sigma rejects this false economy. He gives freely without expectation and recognizes no emotional contracts imposed without consent. When presented with a guilt ledger, he simply replies, "That was your choice." In that moment, the guilt tripper's prized weapon, their ledger, is revealed to be worthless, their manipulative economy nullified by someone who refuses to acknowledge its currency. 12. The spotlight addict, the hunger for external validation. The spotlight addict craves attention, as though it were oxygen. They hijack conversations, exaggerate stories, and manufacture drama to remain the center focus. The moment attention shifts, they feel invisible, desperate, and unworthy. Yet, the Sigma is entirely self-validating. He does not chase attention, and paradoxically, this indifference draws it to him naturally. His quiet competence, enigmatic presence, and calm confidence overshadow the addict's frantic performances. This is their nightmare. Watching attention flow effortlessly to someone who doesn't even want it. The Sigma's presence proves that true magnetism comes from authenticity, not desperation. Epilogue: the aftermath of quiet destruction. The Sigma's dismantling of these personalities is not born of malice, but of integrity. He does not seek to destroy others, only to live authentically. Yet his authenticity functions as a mirror, exposing artifice, manipulation, and cowardice wherever it exists. His quiet strength dismantles false power structures, forcing others to confront the hollowness within themselves. This quiet destruction is not a victory he celebrates, for the Sigma is indifferent to outcomes. Instead, it is a natural clearing of the noise and clutter of inauthentic personalities. His presence asks unspoken but vital questions. Who are you when your tricks no longer work? What remains when the performance ends? What would it mean to build strength that is truly your own? The Sigma provides no answers. His silent example simply forces the questions. And within that silence lies a possibility for others to abandon illusion and begin building the kind of strength that does not roar, but stands unshakable. Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly, and your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know, which part hit home the most for you? Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males, psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time.